grand schemer, our splendid wayfarer, Bob Dyer. And I was a little hesitant because this is a song that would be a whole lot better if you were sitting around a campfire, had been passing around one of those nice frosty paint cans of mint julep. Been doing that for a while, and we all be ready to bark like dogs, and which you could probably do even without the song by that point. But since Meredith already got you hooting like owls, I figured this
you could holler like dogs.
All right. So now Bob didn't often give me credit for this, but I actually was the one that on one of our mini van rides together. One of those times, I turned and said, "You know, Bob, you ought to write a song about Jim the Wonder Dog." A famous legendary dog from Marshall. There's a statue of there in Marshall, and like Old Drum, the statue of him in Warrensburg. And see, do we still have dog statues over there by LSC? I can't swear on. They're still there? Okay, they're not famous dogs.
They're cool though.
Okay, so I actually told Bob, I said, you know, you could you could do it talking blues style, and you could call it talking Wonder Dog Blues, which would really confuse people. And so Bob decided not to do that. But he did write this song, and I suppose, but I'm not the only
Aren't you going to have
person.
him practice?
I'm the only person that ever told Bob he ought to write a song about something. So every now and then you got to listen to somebody. Okay, well. One time I was singing this song, and there was a man in the audience who actually owned English setters, and so he claimed he could actually bark like an English setter, so I had to trust him. You don't want to anger a man with English setters. So,
but how many of you out there have dogs? You can bark like your dog. You can do that.
Two beautiful dogs live across the street from us. Clover, the basset hound, Ava, beautiful German shepherds. They have lovely voices. Okay, here we go. You'll know how to bark. When I say, hey, all you dogs out there, let's hear it for Jim. Good enough for a try. Okay.
Bob would be happy. That's good.
Best old drum. Case up in Warrensburg, the senator won, showing how a dog really was man's best friend. Drum ain't Missouri's only famous dog. There was another canine that some people thought was just about the smartest thing ever walking four legs. Well, the name of this wonderful dog was Jim, and he lived up in Marshall with his master Sam. One day he wonders, the end of the wonders, that son of a Jim. They call him Jim. Wonderful Jim, never been another dog smarter than him. Hey, all you dogs out there, let's hear it for Jim. Well, he was sired by the famous Eugene's Ghost, and his grandsire was known from coast to coast as the fabulous chicken champion, the Candy Kid. Jim was kind of the run of the litter, sort of a reject English setter, and Sam found he couldn't even train him for hunting birds. But Jim was gentle with the children, and he minded real good, and Sam began to realize that Jim understood just about anything anyone ever said to him. They called him Jim, wonderful Jim, never met another dog smarter than him. Hey, all you dogs out there, let's hear it for Jim. Wonderful Jim, never met another dog smarter than him. Hey, all you dogs out there, let's hear it for Jim. Well, Jim could tell one kind of tree from another. He'd locate cars just by license plate numbers, and anything he'd ask him to find, he'd go and put his paw on it. As the news about Jim the Wonder Dog spread, people started coming to see for themselves if the things that Jim was said to be able to do were true. I do not take credit for inspiring that last line, I have to say. Well, it turned out he not only understood English, but also Greek and a little Italian, and he could read people's minds and even predict the future. He gave expeditions all over the state, college professors professors tried to prove him a fake, but no one ever seemed to put a dent in Jim's reputation. They call him Jim, Jim, wonderful Jim. Never been another dog smarter than him. Hey, all you dogs out there, let's hear it for Jim. Jim, wonderful Jim. Never been another dog smarter than him. Hey, all you dogs out there, let's hear it for Jim.
It's too much fun.
You know, most of this stuff, this song did come from Jim's autobiography, which you can read. You can still get a copy of the autobiography. Nice to have a dog. I don't know how many of your dogs have ever written an autobiography. Well, Jim finally died in 1937. Went up, right up there to English setter heaven, reunited with Eugene's ghost and the Candy Kid. Well, Sam asked if Jim could be buried along with the other folks in the human cemetery, but the city fathers ruled that couldn't be done. So Sam planted Jim right beyond the fence, put up a right nice monument that anybody could go and see to this very day. And it's interesting to note how in the years since then, the cemetery's grown and had to expand, and now Jim's right in there with the rest of the human. We call him Jim, Jim, wonderful Jim. Never been another dog smarter than him. Hey, all you dogs out there, let's hear it for Jim. Jim, wonderful Jim. Never been another dog smarter than him. Hey, all you dogs out there, let's hear it for Jim. So the next time you hear about man's best friend, think of that wonderful dog named Jim, and remember, dogs can be just as smart as some humans are dumb.